This is day 24, and in this episode we're going to be setting up our Wired for Success, installing a separate fuse box in your home office. So welcome to this small home office build. You'll notice here this is a small fuse box, so they're going to be separating the lights, the power sockets, the extra lights for the outside of the building, and this is the garage unit supply that will be used. So the builder will be installing all of this for me and having it certified by an electrician for a certificate. So it's important to get these done from a reputable person. We've got an LED light for the bathroom, which is going to be a wall ceiling light for waterproofness, and a simple light fitting here with LED light bulbs. So all of these things with a fan. So a fan will be fitted into the bathroom area as well. So if you watched my last episode, I'm basically updating our extension. We've built a new extension and we're using this as a small home office, and it's got a washroom built in as well. So there's a number of things here that will be fitted and used for computers, heaters, laptops, the number of things. In total, I've got 8 double sockets around this extension. We're talking about 160 square foot extension, and it's actually got a washroom shower system built in as well. And this episode, you're going to see all of this being fitted, as well as some of the stuff from yesterday's episode. So if you watched the last episode that came out, is basically a mix between the shower being put in, the washroom being put in, and the electrics. So those things will be seen, and roughly you can see here what this you're looking at about 60-ish quid worth of stuff here, and it's normally the fitting that gets you. So what I did do is I recorded my section as well. So while the electrician was doing his first fit of the wires, I pushed in some extra internet cables into this home office. What that means is we're going to get some good speeds of internet. So up here is what the fuse box will be attached to, and it'll be housed in a cabinet area to keep it separate from the washroom. And there's wires behind the wall taking us here. So what's happening here is I've got RJ45 Cat6 internet cables, and I've wired a few houses for internet, so I kind of know what I'm doing. So what I'm doing here is I've pushed the wires through and I'm adding on the little jacks in the end. You just want to make sure you use the right standard and the colors of the cables are correct. These are shielded cases. So these ones are Cat5 cables, shielded ends. So these are jacks basically. You can make a cable run as long as you want and add these on the end. If you're not too handy with this, you can just buy pre-made ones. When you push them through the wall and they've got these on, it's a bit more tricky to basically do that. So what I end up doing is pushing the cable through. So what will happen is I'll have 2 of these cables sitting next to the fuse box. There'll be a enclosed fuse box, and I might have a router in there or a unit where I can then use like a switch to have more wires if I want full high-speed internet. So this episode, you're seeing a number of techniques being done. The electrician will do his bit. I'm doing the internet bit because this doesn't involve any electricity. You'll see I just got the cables out here. You'll have like a set of cables in their different colors. Have a look online if you're not sure how to do this. There's videos online. So what I do is I have a picture to show me which colors I need to put in which order, and I refer to my phone to look at that picture, and then I push them through on these open-ended jacks. These used to be a lot harder. They're a lot easier now because you can push all the cable through and just cut off the extra bit. So these are basically jacks. I put red and blue caps on there just so that I know which ones are which for the internet, and I've got 2 cables here ready for high-speed internet. So I'm joining the extension on via a coupler system, which are again available online. I might put links in the description, or if you're interested, check the pinned comment. I'll link you to an article which is supporting this extension home office build, and you'll see all the details about everything I'm using. So the electrical system is basically going to be plugs and lighting, and the internet system is my system that I'm doing. And you see you get these little clips that you can just push and join the jack on the end, and it kind of creates its own seal, and then you cut off the extra cables. This is an older push fit that I'm using, and it doesn't have the automatic cutter, so I end up cutting the wires off separately. But once it's done, you basically get a solid connection for your internet. So your home internet Wi-Fi will be quicker, the speed will be better, and it'll actually you'll have less dropped frames. For example, if you're uploading videos or doing gameplay stuff, there'll be less dropped frames. So I did a little mark there so I know where to cut, and then I just use a standing blade to cut off the extra cables. Just be careful with standing blades because they can be, well, sharp. Yeah, so the internet cables are done, and then what I did was, this was on the day that the builder did not come. So remember, this is day 23, day 24 of this entire home office extension build, and I'm basically walking you along as I'm going through these and letting you know how things are progressing. So within about a month, you should be at this stage of having electric stuff done. These couplers are available. They're quite easy to do. You plug one in one, and one of the extending cables, basically. Think of it like a home extension where you plug a plug into another wire to make it longer. Is that kind of scenario. So they plug into each other. I taped these up, and I purposely left that hole in the wall. You'll see that hole in the wall. So if I need to access these in future, I can access them because I'll know there's a system there. You basically repeat the same thing on the opposite end, and you put the other jack on the side, the RJ45 clip, and then you can basically plug in. I did a test with my little tester just to make sure all the cables were working, and you'll see here, see how easy that is. You push them all the way through in the right color, and then there's the picture that I'm referring to, the color of the cables. And that's internet basically sorted. So now I'll have good high-speed internet, as well as separate wires for the system of the fuse box. In a while you'll see the builder doing his bit for the electrics and stuff as well, but this basically took me about 30 minutes, if that, to get the 2 cables, 4 ends put on. Just a bit fiddly and finicky, but once you've got them done, you know you've got internet in the home extension, because as you know, internet's very important. I'll add a little Wi-Fi dongle unit on there as well, so we can get Wi-Fi for the TV and mobile phone and tablets. You'll see this is a Wi-Fi repeater. How it works is you plug it in, you plug the cable into the side, so it repeats your home internet for a longer distance. So if you're struggling getting internet in your shed, you can use this in a various number of ways. It can repeat the Wi-Fi, or it can give you other options. And you see the builder turned up, and then he started feeding through the wires and putting through the lights and things. One thing he did do is, at some point when he did all of this, it triggered the fuse box. That was, I suppose, is a good test, because now we know it triggers. But I think at some point the light switch for this extension room, I feel like the wire cable they used was faulty, or at some point that metal shielding that they used, the nail through the cable, because it kept triggering the fuse. So he had to put a separate cable for that. So it's just a little bit disappointing. I think every single thing they've done, there's been like one element that's gone wrong. So nothing's been perfect so far. But you're going to have to learn to figure out how to get around these types of situations, because in life there will be situations like this. And I think it worked out in my favor, because that cable was in the wall. So if I need to access that in the future, it might have been a bit more tricky, because I would have to break the plaster. So what he ended up doing was putting another cable in, and we're going to have a plastic casing on the wall. And that's good for me, because I'm thinking there's 2 light switches here, and I may decide to partition this room into 2 sections, so then I can have a double switch, which may be something in future. So that's something to consider, because I didn't think the extension would be as big as it is internally. Now I can feel like, okay, yeah, we've actually got quite a bit of space here, which would be good. So you'll see that he put sockets everywhere, and he set those up, and then all the wires lead to the fuse box, which is fitted in the top corner of this. It's a washroom. However, it will be enclosed in its own unit separately, and it'll be far away from the shower and any water, so we should be all right in terms of the guidance and regulations and stuff. So there, it's in the top corner. We'll have a box unit made there, and all the wires feed into this. And how it works is, it's like a garage type extra fuse box unit. So you know the one you have in your houses, that big one that everything leads into, and if something triggers in the house, the button goes down, and then you have to come in and raise the button. This should isolate all these electrics from the house. So if anything goes wrong in this environment, and the light triggers something, or something powerful is used, you can simply come into this room and just switch it back on again from here. If there's a major fault, it can lead all the way back to the house fuse board, which it did do when we've discovered that the light switch was triggering it. So he figured that out, and this kind of took about half a day. And this is the unit there. As well as fitting that, he fitted a LED light in the washroom and a fan. This is all included in the price that I paid him. I even asked him to get extra lights for the external walkway, because the alleyway alongside of this, the walkway alongside this extension, at night it gets quite dark, so he's going to put 2 extra lights there. All the sockets were his, all the cable, everything you see so far has been his. I think, has there been anything that's mine? Only two things that I upgraded: the roof, which you're going to see a later video on, the like the end cap slates. I wanted some better quality ones, and the insulation in the upper little loft area and the back wall. So that was like extras that I had done. Apart from that, everything else was his and as part of the price. You'll see in the pinned comment, as well as the articles that support this article video series, you'll see like, and the doors were his and the frames and everything as well. You'll see what this ended up costing and the breakdown of pricing. So in this episode, you saw like the electrics, these are like a bit middled up. So towards the end, they were doing like half bits of lots of different things. So I've tried to keep as much of this together as possible. This is like 3 days worth of stuff going on, because the shower is being set up at this point as well. And you will also see the painting and the shower and the washroom stuff, the basin and that going in the next episode. So stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, follow along, and I'll see you in the next episode, which you'll see on screen now.